Hello everyone, this is part 6 of What If Naruto Uchiha joins the Olympians, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
The next afternoon, June 14th, 7 days before the solstice, their train rolled into Denver. They hadn't eaten since the night before in the dining car, somewhere in Kansas. They hadn't taken a shower since Half-Blood Hill, making him pretty noticeable to the other passengers. As for Naruto, he looked neat and clean. They didn't know how. Let's try to contact Chiron, Annabeth said. I want to tell him about your talk with the river spirit. We can't use phones, right? Percy said. I'm not talking about phones. They wandered through downtown for about half an hour, though Percy wasn't sure what Annabeth was looking for, but Naruto had some clue. The air was dry and hot, which felt weird after the humidity of St. Louis. Finally they found an empty do-it-yourself car wash. They veered toward the stall farthest from the street, keeping our eyes open for patrol cars. They were 4 adolescents hanging out at a car wash without a car. Any cop worth his donuts would figure they were up to no good. What exactly are we doing? Percy asked. Grover took out the spray gun. It's 75 cents, he grumbled. I've only got 2 quarters left. Annabeth. Don't look at me, Annabeth said. Naruto flipped a quarter to him. Take this. Excellent, Grover said. We could do it with a spray bottle, of course, but the connection isn't as good, and my arm gets tired of pumping. Percy asked, what are you talking about? He fed in the quarters and set the knob to fine mist. I'm ring. Instant messaging. Iris messaging, Naruto corrected. Yes, Annabeth said, the rainbow goddess Iris carries messages from the gods. If you know how to ask, and she's not too busy, she'll do the same for half-bloods. You summon the goddess with a spray gun. Grover pointed the nozzle in the air and water hissed out in a thick white mist. Unless you know an easier way to make a rainbow. Everyone looked at Naruto. What? Naruto asked them. Can you make a rainbow? Grover asked. You think I can do anything? Naruto said. Sorry, yes, I can make a rainbow, Naruto said. Everybody face faltered at that answer. He used water manipulation to make small rainbow. Annabeth raised the drachma over her head. Oh goddess, accept our offering. She threw the drachma into the rainbow. It disappeared in a golden shimmer. Half-Blood Hill, Annabeth requested. For a moment, nothing happened. Then they saw through the mist at Strawberry Fields, and the Long Island Sound in the distance. The image seemed to be set on the porch of the big house. Standing with his back to us on the railing was a sandy-haired guy in shorts and an orange tank top. He was holding a bronze sword and seemed to be staring intently at something down in the meadow. Luke, Percy called. He turned eyes wide. Percy could swear he was standing 3 feet in front of him through a screen of mist, except he could only see the part of him that appeared in the rainbow. Percy. His scarred face broke into a grin. Is that Annabeth, Naruto and Grover too? Thank the gods. Are you guys okay? Fine, Annabeth stammered. She was madly straightening her dirty t-shirt, trying to comb the loose hair out of her face. We thought, Chiron, I mean. He's down at the cabins. Luke's smile faded. We're having some issues with the campers. Listen, is everything cool with you? Yes, Grover said. What kind of issues? Just then a big Lincoln Continental pulled into the car wash with its stereo turned to maximum hip-hop. As the car slid into the next stall, the bass from the subwoofers vibrated so much, it shook the pavement. Chiron had to, what's that noise? Luke yelled. I'll take care of it, Naruto said. I'm coming with you, Annabeth said, looking very relieved to have an excuse to get out of sight. They made their way toward the car. Chiron had to break up a fight, Luke shouted to Percy over the music. Things are pretty tense here, Percy. Word leaked out about the Zeus, Poseidon, Hades standoff. We're still not sure how, probably the same scumbag who summoned the Hellhound. Now the campers are starting to take sides. It's shaping up like the Trojan War all over again. Aphrodite, Ares, and Apollo are backing Poseidon and Hades, more or less. Athena is backing Zeus. This is bad, Grover said. I know, Luke said. I never thought Clarice's cabin would ever be on my dad's side for anything, Percy thought. In the next stall, they heard the boom Sound and music sound suddenly stopped. Then after a few minutes later they heard Gurley scream. Percy, what happened? Luke asked. I don't know, Percy said. So what's your status? Luke asked. Chiron will be sorry he missed you. They told him pretty much everything, including Percy's dreams. Percy felt so good to see him, to feel like he was back at camp even for a few minutes, that they didn't realize how long they had talked. I wish I could be there, Luke said. We can't help much from here, I'm afraid, but listen. It had to be Hades who took the Master Bolt. He was there at Olympus at the winter solstice. I was chaperoning a field trip and we saw him. I don't think, Luck, Naruto said, who appeared there with Annabeth. Gods can't take each other's magic item directly. I'm sorry Naruto, but that's true, Luke said, looking troubled. Still, Hades has the Helm of Darkness. How could anybody else sneak into the throne room and steal the Master Bolt? You'd have to be invisible. They were silent, until Luke seemed to realize what he'd said. He looked at Annabeth. Oh, Annabeth, he protested. I didn't mean it was you. You and I have known each other forever. I know, you. Sorry. It's okay, Annabeth said. She was little down. Well, take care of yourself out there in Denver, Luke said. Goodbye. The mist was gone, and Luke's image faded to nothing. Percy turned to Naruto and Annabeth. What happened between you two and car driver? We heard a boom sound, he asked. Annabeth said, well, 00 flashback starts 00. 0 few minutes earlier 0. Naruto and Annabeth saw the owner of the car was a young guy who looked to be in his early 20s. Excuse me, Annabeth said. Could you turn it down a little? Your kind music is a bit loud. Get lost, you girl, driver said arrogantly. You don't have any manners, Naruto said, and don't talk Annabeth like that. Get lost you kid and take your girlfriend with you, driver said. First she is not my girlfriend. She is like a little sister to me, Naruto said, and I will ask again turn the music down. The driver just growled a little. No, he said. Very well, Naruto said. Boom. He did punch the car bonnet with such force, the car flipped over them and crashed upside down. If you talk to me like that again, next time it wasn't your car, it would be you, Naruto said in a cold tone. The driver looked at Naruto with wide eyes. Then he screamed like a girl and ran away from there. Idiot, Naruto said. Annabeth started to laugh loudly. Ha. That was rich, she said. Thank Naruto and I never thought you saw me as your little sister. I always wanted a little sister, Naruto said. Suddenly Annabeth gave him a hug. It would be my pleasure, if I get brother like you. Naruto gave her a return hug. Annabeth asked, you don't think after this incident we will get unwanted attention? First no one saw us and you really think anyone would believe him that 13-year-old boy destroyed his car with one punch, Naruto said. No. Now, you saw my point. Let's go, Anna, Naruto said and gave her his rare smile. Annabeth also smiled at her name. Both of them disappeared in swirling of the vortex. 00 flashback ends 00. Well, nothing special, Annabeth said. So what did Luke say before? Grover and Percy told him everything. It is bad, Annabeth said. Someone leaked out about the Zeus, Poseidon and Hades standoff, Naruto thought. Suddenly Percy's stomach growled loudly. He blushed with embarrassment. Come on, let's find some dinner and don't worry about money, Naruto said. 0 a few minutes later 0. Take this money. Naruto gave some money to Annabeth. Go ahead, I'll meet you later, he said. Annabeth asked, where are you going? Some personal work, Naruto said. Okay, Annabeth said. Naruto walked toward the dark alley. He stopped and saw no one was there. You can come out now, he said. Suddenly from nowhere a wolf appeared front of him. It was a white wolf with crimson markings across its body. As I thought you can sense me, Wolf said in a feminine voice. Who are you? Let's talk somewhere. Naruto nodded and both of them disappeared. They appeared on the top of the hill. Now tell me who are you? Naruto asked. He turned around, looked up, saw the rising sun in the sky. In bright flash of light, the wolf turned into a woman. She had long black hair and purple eyes like him. She would be considered a very beautiful woman. She had warmth aura that was radiating life force and hope. I am Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun, but also of the universe, Amaterasu said. Why you am I? Naruto said. Grandmother. Amaterasu came closer to Naruto and put her hand on his head. I'm here to talk with you. Suddenly Naruto started to shine in flame-like black aura. With that crimson markings appeared on his shoulders. What is that? Naruto asked. My gift, Amaterasu said. They are divine markings. They are all over your body. Now what? Naruto asked. Amaterasu smiled at her grandson. Let's talk about your life and powers. Zero with others. Zero. Annabeth, Percy and Grover were sitting at a booth in a gleaming chrome diner. All around them, families were eating burgers and drinking malts and sodas. Finally the waitress came over. She raised her eyebrow skeptically. Well, Percy said, we want to order dinner. You kids have money to pay for it. Before they could say anything, rumble shook the whole building. A motorcycle the size of a baby elephant had pulled up to the curb. All conversation in the diner stopped. The motorcycle's headlight glared red. Its gas tank had flames painted on it, and a shotgun holster riveted to either side, complete with shotguns. The seat was leather, but leather that looked like, well, Caucasian human skin. The guy on the bike would have made pro wrestlers run for mama. He was dressed in a red muscle shirt and black jeans and a black leather duster, with a hunting knife strapped to his thigh. He wore red wraparound shades, and he had the cruelest, most brutal face they had ever seen, handsome, but wicked, with an oily black crew cut and cheeks that were scarred from many, many fights. The weird thing was, Percy felt like he had seen his face somewhere before. As he walked into the diner, a hot, dry wind blew through the place. All the people rose, as if they were hypnotized, but the biker waved his hand dismissively and they all sat down again. Everybody went back to their conversations. The waitress blinked, as if somebody had just pressed the rewind button on her brain. She asked us again, you kids have money to pay for it. The biker said, it's on me. He slid into their booth, which was way too small for him, and crowded Annabeth against the window. He looked up at the waitress, who was gaping at him, and said, are you still here? He pointed at her, and she stiffened. She turned as if she'd been spun around, and then marched back toward the kitchen. The biker looked at Percy. Percy couldn't see his eyes behind the red shades, but he had bad feelings. Anger, resentment, bitterness. He wanted to hit a wall. He wanted to pick a fight with somebody. He gave Percy a wicked grin. So you're old seaweed's kid, huh? Percy should have been surprised, or scared, but instead he felt like he was looking at his stepdad, Gabe. He wanted to rip this guy's head off. What's it to you? Annabeth's eyes flashed him a warning. Percy, this is. The biker raised his hand. Soke, he said. I don't mind a little attitude. Long as you remember who's the boss. You know who I am, little cousin. Then it struck Percy why this guy looked familiar. He had the same vicious sneer as some of the kids at Camp Half-Blood, the ones from Cabin 5. You're Clarice's dad, he said. Ares, god of war. Ares grinned and took off his shades. Where his eyes should have been, there were only fire, empty sockets glowing with miniature nuclear explosions. That's right, punk. I heard you broke Clarice's spear. She was asking for it. Probably. That's cool. I don't fight my kids' fights, you know. What I'm here for. I heard you and Corpse Breath's kid were in town. Where is he? Corpse Breath's kid? Percy asked. Grover said, he means Naruto. Well anyway, I got a little proposition for you, Ares said to Percy. The waitress came back with heaping trays of food, cheeseburgers, fries, onion rings, and chocolate shakes. Ares handed her a few gold drachmas. She looked nervously at the coins. But, these aren't. Ares pulled out his huge knife and started cleaning his fingernails. Problem, sweetheart. The waitress swallowed, then left with the gold. You can't do that, Percy said to Ares. You can't just threaten people with a knife. Ares laughed. Are you kidding? I love this country. Don't you carry a weapon, punk. You should. Dangerous world out there. This brings me to my proposition. I need you to do me a favor. What favor could I do for a god? Something a god doesn't have time to do himself. It's nothing much. I left my shield at an abandoned water park here in town. I was going on a little date with my girlfriend. We were interrupted. I left my shield behind. I want you to fetch it for me. Why don't you go back and get it yourself? The fire in his eye sockets glowed a little hotter. Why don't I turn you into a prairie dog and run you over with my Harley? Because I don't feel like it. A god is giving you an opportunity to prove yourself, Percy Jackson. Will you prove yourself a coward? He leaned forward. Or maybe you only fight when there's a river to dive into, so your daddy can protect you. Percy wanted to punch this guy, but somehow, he knew he was waiting for that. Ares's power was causing his anger. He'd love it if he attacked. He didn't want to give him the satisfaction. We're not interested, Percy said. We've already got a quest. Ares's fiery eyes made him see things he didn't want to see. Blood and smoke and corpses on the battlefield. I know all about your quest, punk. When that item was first stolen, Zeus sent his best out looking for it, Apollo, Athena, Artemis, and me, naturally. If I couldn't sniff out a weapon that powerful. He licked his lips, as if the very thought of the master bolt made him hungry. Well, if I couldn't find it, you got no hope. Nevertheless, I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. Your dad and I go way back. After all, I'm the one who told him my suspicions about old corpse breath. You told him Hades stole the bolt. Sure. Framing somebody to start a war. Oldest trick in the book. I recognized it immediately. In a way, you got me to thank for your little quest. Thanks, Percy grumbled. Suddenly a familiar voice said, so do you think he actually stole it? Quote. They looked at voice direction and saw Naruto. He was calmly standing there with the hood on his jacket over his head. You must be Corpse Breath's kid, Ares said. I doubted he stole a bolt. He has been bitching about too many dead people lately. Quote. Whatever, I don't care, Naruto said and started to walk away from there. Where are you going? Don't you want to hear about your other quest? Ares said. No. Technically you asked them first, so it is their quest, not mine. Naruto walked away from there. Smart kid, I like him, Ares said. He turned to Percy. Just do my little job, and I'll help you on your way. I'll arrange a ride west for you and your friends. We're doing fine on our own, Percy said. Yeah, right. No clue what you're up against. Help me out, and maybe I'll tell you something you need to know. Something about your mom. My mom. Ares grinned. That got your attention. The water park is a mile west on Delancey. You can't miss it. Look for the Tunnel of Love ride. What interrupted your date? Percy asked. Something scare you off? Ares bared his teeth, but Percy had seen his threatening look before on Clarice. There was something false about it, almost like he was nervous. You're lucky you met me, punk, and not one of the other Olympians. They're not as forgiving of rudeness as I am. I'll meet you back here when you're done. Don't disappoint me. After he said that, Percy blinked and he was gone. He might have thought the conversation had been a dream, but Annabeth and Grover's expressions told him otherwise. Not good, Grover said. Ares sought you out, Percy. This is not good. Percy stared out the window. The motorcycle had disappeared. Did Ares really know something about my mom, or was he just playing with me? He thought. That man liked to mess with people's emotions so bad they break. It's probably some kind of trick, he said. Forget Ares. Let's just go. We can't, Annabeth said. Look, I hate Ares as much as anybody, but you don't ignore the gods unless you want serious bad fortune. He wasn't kidding about turning you into a rodent. Interesting, Naruto said as he walked over there. He was eating streaming hot noodles. Only for you, Naruto, Percy said. He looked down at his cheeseburger, which suddenly didn't seem so appetizing. Why does he need us? Maybe it's a problem that requires brains, Annabeth said. Ares have strength. That's all he has. Even strength has to bow to wisdom sometimes. But this water park. He acted almost scared. What would make a war god run away like that? Annabeth and Grover glanced nervously at each other. Don't worry, very soon you will find out, Naruto said. The sun was sinking behind the mountains by the time they found the water park. Judging from the sign, it once had been called Waterland, but now some of the letters were smashed out, so it reads Watrad. The main gate was padlocked and topped with barbed wire. Inside, huge dry water slides and tubes and pipes curled everywhere, leading to empty pools. Old tickets and advertisements fluttered around the asphalt. With night coming on, the place looked sad and creepy. If Ares brings his girlfriend here for a date, Percy said, staring up at the barbed wire, I'd hate to see what she looks like. Percy, Annabeth warned, be more respectful. Why? I thought you hated Ares. He's still a god, and his girlfriend is very temperamental. You don't want to insult her looks, Grover added. Who is she? Echidna. I think you forgot I killed her in Arch, Naruto said. Yes, Percy said. She is Aphrodite, Grover said, a little dreamily. Goddess of love. I thought she was married to somebody, Percy said. Hephaestus. What's your point? Grover asked. Oh. Percy suddenly felt the need to change the subject. So how do we get in? Maya. Grover's shoes sprouted wings. He flew over the fence, did an unintended somersault in midair, and then stumbled to a landing on the opposite side. He dusted off his jeans, as if he'd planned the whole thing. You guys coming? Naruto put his hand on Percy and Annabeth's shoulders and said, let me help you. They disappeared and reappeared in the front of Grover. The shadows grew long as they walked through the park, checking out the attractions. Luckily for them, there were no monsters in sight, so they were safe. Nothing made the slightest noise. They found a souvenir shop that had been left open. Merchandise still lined the shelves: snow globes, pencils, postcards, and racks of clothes. Annabeth said. Fresh clothes. Yeah, Percy said, but you can't just watch me. Annabeth snatched an entire row of stuff of the racks and disappeared into the changing room. A few minutes later she came out in Waterland flower print shorts, a big red Waterland t-shirt, and commemorative Waterland surf shoes. A Waterland backpack was slung over her shoulder, obviously stuffed with more goodies. What the heck? Grover shrugged. Soon, all three, Annabeth, Percy and Grover, were decked out like walking advertisements for the defunct theme park. Naruto, try this, Annabeth said. But they saw Naruto wasn't with them. Where is he? She said. He disappeared, again, Grover said. Let's go. Naruto can handle himself, Percy said. They continued searching for the tunnel of love. Percy got the feeling that the whole park was holding its breath. So Ares and Aphrodite, he said, to keep his mind off the growing dark, they have a thing going. That's old gossip, Percy, Annabeth said. 3,000-year-old gossip. What about Aphrodite's husband? Well, you know, she said. Hephaestus, the blacksmith. He was crippled when he was a baby, thrown off Mount Olympus by Zeus. So he isn't exactly handsome. Clever with his hands, and all, but Aphrodite isn't into brains and talent, you know. She likes bikers. Whatever. Hephaestus knows. Oh sure, Annabeth said. He caught them together once. I mean, literally caught them, in a golden net, and invited all the gods to come and laugh at them. Hephaestus is always trying to embarrass them. That's why they meet in out-of-the-way places, like. She stopped, looking straight ahead. Like that. In front of them was an empty pool. It was at least 50 yards across and shaped like a bowl. Around the rim, a dozen bronze statues of Cupid stood guard with wings spread and bows ready to fire. On the opposite side of them, a tunnel opened up, probably where the water flowed into when the pool was full. The sign above it read, Thrill Ride O Love, this is not your parents' tunnel of love. Grover crept toward the edge. Guys, look. Marooned at the bottom of the pool was a pink and white two-seater boat with a canopy over the top and little hearts painted all over it. In the left seat, glinting in the fading light, was Ares' shield, a polished circle of bronze. This is too easy, Percy said. So we just walk down there and get it. Annabeth ran her fingers along the base of the nearest Cupid statue. There's a Greek letter carved here, she said. Eta. I wonder. Grover, Percy said, you smell any monsters? Grover sniffed the wind. Nothing. Nothing. Like in the arch, and you didn't smell echidna? Nothing, or really nothing. Grover looked hurt. I told you, that we were underground. Okay, I'm sorry. Percy took a deep breath. I'm going down there. I'll go with you, Grover said, but he didn't sound too enthusiastic. No, Percy said. I want you to stay up top with the flying shoes. You're the Red Baron, a flying ace, remember. I'll be counting on you for backup, in case something goes wrong. Grover puffed up his chest a little. Sure, but what could go wrong? I don't know. Just a feeling. Annabeth, come with me. Are you kidding? Annabeth looked at Percy as if he had just dropped from the moon. Her cheeks were bright red. What's the problem now? Percy demanded. Me. Go with you to the thrill ride of love. How embarrassing is that? What if somebody saw me? Who's going to see you? Percy said. His face was red. Leave it to a girl to make everything complicated, he thought. Fine, Percy said. I'll do it myself. He started down the side of the pool. Annabeth followed him, muttering about how boys always messed things up. They reached the boat. The shield was propped on one seat, and next to it was a lady's silk scarf. He picked up the scarf. It shimmered pink, and the perfume was indescribable, rose, or mountain laurel. Something good. He smiled, a little dreamy, and was about to rub the scarf against his cheek when Annabeth ripped it out of his hand and stuffed it in her pocket. Oh. No you don't. Stay away from that love magic. What? Just get the shield, seaweed brain, and let's get out of here. Percy scowled and reached for the shield, only to pale as his other hand hit a trip wire. Wait, Annabeth said. Too late. There's another Greek letter on the side of the boat, another eta. This is a trap. Noise erupted all around them, of a million gears grinding, as if the whole pool were turning into one giant machine. Grover yelled, guys. Up on the rim, the Cupid statues were drawing their bows into firing position. Before Percy could suggest taking cover, they fired at each other, across the rim of the pool. Silky cables trailed from the arrows, arcing over the pool and anchoring where they landed to form a huge golden asterisk. Then smaller metallic threads started weaving together magically between the main strands, making a net. We have to get out, Percy said. Duh, Annabeth said. Percy grabbed the shield and they ran, but going up the slope of the pool was not as easy as going down. Come on, Grover shouted. He was trying to hold open a section of the net for them, but wherever he touched it, the golden thread started to wrap around his hands. The Cupids' heads popped open. Out came video cameras. Spotlights rose up all around the pool, blinding us with illumination, and a loudspeaker voice boomed, "Live to Olympus in 1 minute. 59 seconds, 58. Hephaestus. Annabeth screamed. I'm so stupid. Eta is H. He made this trap to catch his wife with Ares. Now we're going to be broadcast live to Olympus and look like absolute fools. They had almost made it to the rim when the row of mirrors opened like hatches and thousands of tiny metallic things poured out. Annabeth screamed. It was an army of wind-up creepy crawlies, bronze gear bodies, spindly legs, and little pincer mouths, all scuttling toward them in a wave of clacking, whirring metal. Spiders, Annabeth said. Ah. She fell backward in terror and almost got overwhelmed by the spider robots before Percy pulled her up and dragged her back toward the boat. Annabeth and Percy climbed into the boat. Percy started kicking away the spiders as they swarmed aboard. He yelled at Annabeth to help him, but she was too paralyzed to do much more than scream. 30, 29, called the loudspeaker. The spiders started spitting out strands of metallic thread, trying to tie us down. The strands were easy enough to break at first, but there were so many of them, and the spiders just kept coming. Grover hovered above the pool in his flying sneakers, trying to pull the net loose, but it wouldn't budge. I wish Naruto was here with us now. He really knows what to do, Grover said to himself. Anyone called me here, Naruto said, who suddenly appeared behind Grover. Naruto, you are here, Grover said. He saw Naruto was floating in midair. You can fly too. He pointed toward Percy and Annabeth. Please, help them. Naruto saw Annabeth and Percy behind the golden net, spider and cameras. Hephaestus really did not want Ares and Aphrodite to have a good time, he said. 15. 14. The loudspeaker called. Percy summoned water from the piping around them to drench and knock away the metallic spiders, but the little buggers were still swarming out. You know, if they aired of the Hephaestus TV, they would no doubt be the laughing stock of the entire Greek world, and no one at camp would ever let them live it down, Naruto said. You have to hurry, Naruto, Grover said. Okay, Naruto said. He summoned a ball of black flame in his left hand and threw it on net. Black flame spread fully on the golden net and destroyed it fully. Wow, Grover said. 9, 8, called the loudspeaker. You are now free, Annabeth and Percy, Naruto said. Both demigods saw no golden net was there. Now, jump as high as you can. They nodded. Get ready to catch them, Grover. 3, 2, 1. Speaker said, and cameras started to filming them. When both Percy and Annabeth jumped, Naruto caught Annabeth while Grover caught Percy in midair. Then slowly put him down on the ground. Annabeth gave Naruto a hug. Thanks, Naruto. They saw Cupids were still filming them. The statues had swiveled so that their cameras were trained straight on them, the spotlights in their faces. Show's over, Naruto said. Thank you. Good night. He sent a storm of black flame toward them and destroyed them completely. That trap was really good. He turned back to the other and saw that Percy's eye was twitching. Percy hefted the shield on his arm. We need to have a little talk with Ares. The war god was waiting for them in the diner parking lot. Well, he said. You didn't get yourself killed. You knew it was a trap, Percy said. Ares gave him a wicked grin. Bet that crippled blacksmith was surprised when he netted a couple of stupid kids. Percy shoved his shield at him. You're a jerk. Annabeth and Grover caught their breath. Ares grabbed the shield and spun it in the air like pizza dough. It changed form, melting into a bulletproof vest. He slung it across his back. See that truck over there? Ares pointed to an 18-wheeler parked across the street from the diner. That's your ride. Take you straight to LA, with one stop in Vegas. The 18-wheeler had a sign on the back, Kindness International, Humane Zoo Transport. Warning, live wild animals. Percy said, you're kidding. Ares snapped his fingers. The back door of the truck unlatched. Free ride west, punk. Stop complaining. And here's a little something for doing the job. He slung a blue nylon backpack off his handlebars and tossed it to Percy. Inside were fresh clothes for all of them, $20 in cash, a pouch full of golden drachmas, and a bag of double-stuff Oreos. Percy said, I don't want your lousy. Thank you, Lord Ares, Grover interrupted, giving Percy his best red alert warning look. Thanks a lot. Percy gritted his teeth. It was probably a deadly insult to refuse something from a god, but he didn't want anything that Ares had touched. He reminded him of every bully he had ever faced, Nancy Bobofit, Clarice, and Smelly Gabe, sarcastic teachers, every jerk who'd called him stupid in school or laughed at him when he had gotten expelled. He looked back at the diner, which had only a couple of customers now. The waitress who'd served them dinner was watching nervously out the window, like she was afraid Ares might hurt us. She dragged the fry cook out from the kitchen to see. She said something to him. He nodded, held up a little disposable camera, but before he could snap a picture of them. Hey, what is this? Grover said. They saw black feathers falling from above them. And what happened to them? Percy said. He pointed toward other people. They are, Annabeth said. Sleeping, Naruto said as he walked toward them. For precaution I have erased their memory. Why? Percy asked. Do you want another headline? 12-year-old OUTLAWBEATS up defenseless biker. No. See my point? Naruto said and he stood next to Annabeth. You are a smart kid, Ares said. You owe me one more thing, Percy said to Ares, trying to keep his voice level. You promised me information about my mother. You sure you can handle the news? Ares said and he kick-started his motorcycle. She's not dead. The ground seemed to spin beneath Percy. What do you mean? I mean she was taken away from the Minotaur before she could die. She was turned into a shower of gold, right? That's metamorphosis, not death. She's being kept. Kept. Why? Hostages, Naruto said. In war you take somebody to control somebody else. He is right, Ares said. Percy said, nobody's controlling me. Ares laughed. Oh yeah. See you around, kid. Percy balled up his fists. You're pretty smug, Lord Ares, for a guy who runs from Cupid statues. Behind his sunglasses, fire glowed. Percy felt a hot wind in his hair. Ares said, we'll meet again, Percy Jackson. Next time you're in a fight, watch your back. He accelerated his Harley, and then roared off down Delancey Street. Annabeth said, that was not smart, Percy. I don't care. You don't want a god as your enemy. Especially not that god. Take my advice, Percy. Anger is just anger. It isn't good. It isn't bad. It just is. What you do with it is what matters. It's like anything else. You can use it to build or to destroy. You just have to make the choice, Naruto said. Hey, guys, Grover said. I hate to interrupt, but. He pointed toward the diner. At the register, the last two customers were paying their check, two men in identical black coveralls, with a white logo on their backs that matched the one on the Kindness International truck. If we're taking the Zoo Express, Grover said, we need to hurry. Let's go, Naruto said and he disappeared with a flock of crows. Others ran across the street and climbed in the back of the big rig, closing the doors behind them. What is that smell? Annabeth asked. Naruto summoned a ball of light. In white light they saw sitting in a row of filthy metal cages were three of the most pathetic zoo animals they had ever beheld, a zebra, a male albino lion, and some weird antelope. Someone had thrown the lion a sack of turnips, which he obviously didn't want to eat. The zebra and the antelope had each gotten a styrofoam tray of hamburger meat. The zebra's mane was matted with chewing gum, like somebody had been spitting on it in their spare time. The antelope had a stupid silver birthday balloon tied to one of his horns that read over the hill. Apparently, nobody had wanted to get close enough to the lion to mess with him, but the poor thing was pacing around on soiled blankets, in a space way too small for him, panting from the stuffy heat of the trailer. He had flies buzzing around his pink eyes and his ribs showed through his white fur. This is kindness, Grover yelled. Humane zoo transport. No. Judging by the crappy condition, this could be a black market transport, Naruto said. He saw Percy and Grover's faces. Don't do anything stupid, this is our only chance to reach LA in time. We can think something about them later. The truck's engine roared to life, the trailer started shaking, and they were forced to sit down. They huddled in the corner on some mildewed feed sacks, trying to ignore the smell and the heat and the flies. Grover talked to the animals in a series of goat bleats, but they just stared at him sadly. Naruto came closer to animals and did their medical checkup. They are far from fine. Poor nutrition, lack of water and lack of medical care, etc. Can't you do anything for them? Annabeth asked. Give them some food and water, this is the only thing we can do for them now, Naruto said. Percy found a water jug and refilled their bowls and Naruto dragged the mismatched food out of their cages. He gave the meat to the lion and the turnips to the zebra and the antelope. Grover calmed the antelope down, while Annabeth used her knife to cut the balloon off his horn. She wanted to cut the gum out of the zebra's mane, too, but they decided that would be too risky with the truck bumping around. They told Grover to promise the animals they will help them more in the morning, and then they settled in for the night. Hey, Annabeth said, I'm sorry for freaking out back at the water park, Percy. That's okay. It's just. She shuddered. Spiders. Because of the Arachne story, Percy said. She got turned into a spider for challenging your mom to a weaving contest, right? Annabeth nodded. Arachne's children have been taking revenge on the children of Athena ever since. If there's a spider within a mile of me, it'll find me. I hate the creepy little things. Anyway, I owe you. We're a team, remember? Percy said. Besides, Grover did the fancy flying and Naruto, he did his best. Percy thought Grover was asleep, but he mumbled from the corner, I was pretty amazing, wasn't I? Annabeth and Percy laughed. She pulled apart an Oreo, handed Percy half. Even though Naruto was not near them, he could still hear them with his abilities. He closed his and listened. In their conversation he heard Grover. I was supposed to escort Talia to camp, Grover said, sniffling. Only Talia. I had strict orders from Chiron, don't do anything that would slow down the rescue. We knew Hades was after her, see, but I couldn't just leave Luke and Annabeth by themselves. I thought I could lead all three of them to safety. It was my fault the kindly ones caught up with us. I froze. I got scared on the way back to camp and took some wrong turns. If I'd just been a little quicker. Stop it, Annabeth said. No one blames you. Talia didn't blame you either. She sacrificed herself to save us, Grover said miserably, her death was my fault. The Council of Cloven Elders said so. Because you wouldn't leave two other half-bloods behind. Percy said. That's not fair. You can't save everyone, Naruto said. Besides, Talia is not dead. She is in limbo. I have promised to help her. He is right, Annabeth said. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for you, Grover. Neither would Luke. We don't care what the council says. Grover kept sniffling in the dark. It's just my luck. I'm the lamest satyr ever, and I find the three most powerful half-bloods of the century, Talia, Naruto, and Percy. You're not lame, Annabeth insisted. You've got more courage than any satyr I've ever met. Name one other who would dare go to the underworld. I bet Percy is really glad you're here right now. She kicked Percy in the shin. Yeah, Percy said. It's not luck that you found Talia, Naruto and me, Grover. You've got the biggest heart of any satyr ever. You're a natural searcher. That's why you'll be the one who finds Pan. They heard a deep, satisfied sigh. They waited for Grover to say something, but his breathing only got heavier. When the sound turned to snoring, they realized he'd fallen asleep. How does he do that? Percy asked. I don't know, Annabeth said. But that was really a nice thing you told him. I meant it. They rode in silence for a few miles, bumping around on the feed sacks. The zebra munched a turnip. The lion licked the last of the hamburger meat off his lips and looked at Percy hopefully. Annabeth rubbed her necklace like she was thinking deep, strategic thoughts. That pine tree bead, Percy said. Is that from your first year? Annabeth looked. She hadn't realized what she was doing. Yeah, she said. Every August, the counselors picks the most impour. Suddenly, they stopped in the middle of their conversation. Naruto opened his eyes and noticed all things had frozen in their places. Truck also wasn't moving. What's happening here? Naruto said as he stood up. It seems like time has stopped. You were right, an unknown voice said. Naruto turned his head and looked at voice direction. He saw an old, wise man with a short, gray beard. He was wearing white business suit and black shoes. He had an old-fashioned small sand clock in his left hand. Who are you? He asked. I am Cronus, old man said. The god of time, Naruto said. It is surprising, you know about me, Cronus said. People did often get confused between me and the Titan Lord Cronus. Naruto nodded, and said, so what I can do for you? Your grandfather has told me many things about you, Cronus said. So I wanted to meet with you. He placed his left hand on Naruto's shoulder. There is also one thing, I saw your future and I know you would need this. As diamond on the Naruto's forehead started to shine for few seconds, and then returned to the normal. Thanks, Naruto said. Time is always with you, Naruto, Cronus said. Use this power wisely. He disappeared from and everything went normal. Tant event of the summer, and they paint it on that year's beads. I've got Talia's pine tree, a Greek trireme on fire, a centaur in a prom dress. Now that was a weird summer. Annabeth continued. Percy asked, and the college ring is your father's? That's none of your. Annabeth stopped herself. Yeah, it is. You don't have to tell me. No, it's okay. They continued their conversation. Naruto ignored them. He looked at his left hand which started to shine in white light. Time is with you, Naruto thought. He summoned glass crystal orb from his pocket dimension and crushed it by his hand. Arc of time, restore. He said as a diamond on his forehead started to shine and small time bubble formed around the crystal. Within a few seconds it restored back to the state it was in before it took damage. Now, this is interesting, Naruto said. I need to practice it more, because if I didn't use the correct power, glass crystal orb turned into sand. He saw the others were sleeping. He followed their example and closed his eyes. 0 in Percy's dream 0. It was Percy's usual nightmare, where he was being forced to take a standardized test while wearing a straitjacket. All the other kids were going out to recess, and the teacher kept saying to him, come on, Percy. You're not stupid, are you? Pick up your pencil. Then the dream strayed from the usual. Percy looked over at the next desk. He saw Naruto and a girl sitting there. They were also wearing a straitjacket. The girl was his age, with unruly black, punk-style hair, dark eyeliner around her stormy green eyes, and freckles across her nose. Somehow, he knew who she was. She was Talia, daughter of Zeus. She struggled against the straitjacket, glared at him in frustration, and snapped, well, seaweed brain. One of us has to get out of here. She's right, Percy's dream self thought. I'm going back to that cavern. I'm going to give Hades a piece of my mind. Then suddenly straitjacket melted off him and he fell through the classroom floor. The teacher's voice changed until it was cold and evil, echoing from the depths of a great chasm. Percy Jackson, it said. Yes, the exchange went well, I see. Percy noticed he was back in the dark cavern, spirits of the dead drifting around him. Unseen in the pit, the monstrous thing was speaking, but this time it wasn't addressing him. The numbing power of its voice seemed directed somewhere else. And he suspects nothing. It asked. Another voice, one Percy almost recognized, answered at his shoulder. Nothing, my lord. He is as ignorant as the rest, but I am not sure about son of Hades. He is too clever and he doesn't trust me. Percy looked over, but no one was there. The speaker was invisible. The son of Hades, the thing in the pit said aloud. He is too strong and powerful. We have to do something about him. Yes, my lord, said the voice next to him, but you are well named the Crooked One. But was it really necessary? I could have brought you what I stole directly. You, the monster said in scorn. You have already shown your limits. You would have failed me completely had I not intervened. But, my lord, peace, little servant. Our 6 months have brought us much. Zeus's anger has grown. Poseidon and Hades have played their most desperate card. Now we shall use it against him. Shortly you shall have the reward you wish, and your revenge. As soon as both items are delivered into my hands, but wait. He is here. What? The invisible servant suddenly sounded tense. You summoned him, my lord. No. The full force of the monsters said. Blast his father's blood, he is too changeable, too unpredictable. The boy brought himself hither. Impossible. The servant cried. For a weakling such as you, perhaps, the voice snarled. Then its cold power turned back on Percy. So, you wish to dream of your quest, young half-blood. Then I will oblige. The scene changed. Percy found he was standing in a vast throne room with black marble walls and bronze floors. The empty, horrid throne was made from human bones fused together. Standing at the foot of the dais, he saw his mother, frozen in shimmering golden light, her arms outstretched. Percy tried to step toward her, but his legs wouldn't move. He reached for her, only to realize that his hands were withering to bones. Grinning skeletons in Greek armor crowded around him, draping him with silk robes. Suddenly, in the blink of an eye, all stopped and Percy found himself in a pure white room. What? The evil voice shouted. With a flock of crows Naruto appeared beside Percy. How many times I told you are not welcome here? He said. You. Again. Yes, Naruto said. Now go back. He sent a blast of chakra. I will never forget this, the son of Hades. We will meet again and then. His voice faded away. Percy woke with a start. Grover was shaking his shoulder. The truck stopped, he said. We think they're coming to check on the animals. Hide. Annabeth hissed. She put on her magic cap and disappeared. Grover and Percy had to dive behind feed sacks. The trailer doors creaked open. Sunlight and heat poured in. Man, one of the truckers said, waving his hand in front of his ugly nose. I wish I hauled appliances. He climbed inside and saw Naruto was standing front lion's cage. Hey, he shouted. Who are you? Morris, what is happening inside? Second truckers said from outside. A kid is inside, Eddie, Morris said. A kid, Eddie said. He also climbed inside and saw Naruto. Who are you? I am your worst nightmare, Naruto said and disappeared with a flock of crows. Crows started to attack on the both truckers. Aha! Morris shouted. Move them away from me. Eddie. Shut up, Morris. I am BU, hey. Not on face. Eddie shouted. Last thing both saw was strange red eyes. Tsukuyomi. 0 in Tsukuyomi 0. Both truckers found themselves in strange world which had blood red moon in the sky. They saw dead trees and crows were around them. Suddenly, they pinned the wooden platform by black chains. Grr. They heard the snarling and growling of animal beside them. They turned their head and saw 3 familiar animals. They were not in their cages and they were 5 times bigger than the normal size. We are going to die, Eddie, Morris said. I know, Eddie said. Grrt. They heard a low growl, and saw the eyes of the animals turn to a blood red, moving their head, staring at them all. They all attacked on both truckers at once. Aha! Both truckers shouted in pain. 1 minute is gone and 47 hours 59 minutes is remaining, Naruto said. 0 in real world 0. 3 seconds later both truckers collapsed on the floor. Come out now, Naruto said. Annabeth became visible, and Grover and Percy came out from their hiding spot. Annabeth saw both truckers and asked, what did you do with them? She asked. Illusion, Naruto said, and they are only unconscious. Now what are we going to do with them? Percy asked and he pointed to the animals. They decided to release them. Naruto cut the locks with his sword. Grover raised his hands and spoke goat blessing. Good luck, Naruto said. The antelope, the zebra and the lion burst out of their cages and went off together into the streets. Some tourists screamed. Most just backed off and took pictures. Will the animals be okay? Percy asked Grover. I mean, the desert and all. Don't worry, Grover said. I placed a satyr's sanctuary on them. Meaning they'll reach the wild safely, Grover said. They'll find water, food, shade, whatever they need until they find a safe place to live. Why can't you place a blessing like that on us? Percy asked. It only works on wild animals. So it would only affect Percy, Annabeth reasoned. Hey, Percy protested. Kidding, Annabeth said. Come on, let's get out of this filthy truck. After getting out of the truck they found themselves on the highway. Anyone knows where are we? Percy asked. We are 10 kilometers away from Las Vegas, Naruto said. How do you know that? Percy asked. Naruto pointed at signboard, Las Vegas 10 kilometers. Well anyway, how reach there? Percy asked. We don't have any transport. Don't worry about that. Just take my hand, Naruto said. Everyone nodded and placed their hand on Naruto's hand. They all disappeared with the swirling of the vortex. Without anyone noticing them, they appeared in Las Vegas. Wow, Grover said. Naruto, why don't you do this in the first place? Percy said. There is some limit of teleportation power, Percy, not really. There is no limitation of teleportation power, Naruto thought. They passed the Monte Carlo, the MGM, pyramids, a pirate ship, and the Statue of Liberty, which was a pretty small replica, but still made Percy homesick. They weren't sure what they were looking for. They made their way to a dead-end street with a building at the end of it with the banner saying, Lotus Hotel and Casino. The entrance was a huge neon flower, the petals lighting up and blinking. No one was going in or out, but the glittering chrome doors were open, spilling out air conditioning that smelled like flowers, lotus blossom. The doorman smiled at them. Hey, kids, you look tired. You want to come in and sit down? No thanks, Naruto said. Then he saw Annabeth, Grover and Percy tired faces. If you want, you can go there. I will meet you later. Thanks Naruto, Annabeth said. No problem, Naruto said and walked away from there. He made his way through the crowded street to a dark alley and then disappeared from there. He appeared far away from Las Vegas. It was the dense forest. Perfect place to train with my new power, Naruto said. A time bubble formed in right hand. Arc of time, flashed forward. He shouted and threw it forward. Zero with other, inside Lotus Hotel and Casino Zero. Inside, they took one look around, and Grover said, whoa. The whole lobby was a giant game room. There was an indoor water slide snaking around the glass elevator, which went straight up at least 40 floors. There was a climbing wall on the side of one building, and an indoor bungee jumping bridge. There were virtual reality suits with working laser guns. And hundreds of video games, each one the size of a widescreen TV. There were a few other kids playing, but not that many. No waiting for any of the games. There were waitresses and snack bars all around, serving every kind of food you can imagine. Hey, a bellhop said. At least they guessed he was a bellhop. He wore a white and yellow Hawaiian shirt with lotus designs, shorts, and flip-flops. Welcome to the Lotus Casino. Here's your room key. Percy stammered, but. No, a bellhop said, laughing. The bill's taken care of. No extra charges, no tips. Just go on up to the top floor, loom 4001. If you need anything, like extra bubbles for the hot tub, or skeet targets for the shooting range, or whatever, just call the front desk. Here are your Lotus cash cards. They work in the restaurants and on all the games and rides. He handed them each a green plastic credit card. There must be some mistake. Obviously he thought we were some millionaires' kids, Percy thought. But he took the card. How much is on here? He said. A bellhop eyebrow knit together. What do you mean? I mean, when does it run out of cash? A bellhop laughed. Oh, you're making a joke. Hey, that's cool. Enjoy your stay. They took the elevator upstairs and checked out the room. It was a suite with 4 separate bedrooms and a bar stocked with candy, sodas, and chips. A hotline to room service. Fluffy towels and water beds with feather pillows. A big screen television with satellite and high-speed internet. The balcony had its own hot tub, and sure enough, there was a skeet shooting machine and a shotgun, so you could launch clay pigeons right out over the Las Vegas skyline and plug them with your gun. The view over the strip and the desert was amazing, but with a room like this, they probably wouldn't have any time to check it out. Oh, goodness, Annabeth said. This place is sweet, Grover said. Absolutely sweet. Percy saw there were clothes in the closet, and they fit him. He frowned, thinking that this was a little strange. He threw Aries' backpack in the trash can, not needing it anymore. They all went to their own rooms and took a shower. When he came out of the bedroom and he found that Annabeth and Grover had also showered and changed clothes. Grover was eating potato chips to his heart's content, while Annabeth cranked up the National Geographic channel. All those stations, Percy said to her, and you turn on National Geographic. Are you insane? It's interesting, Annabeth said. I feel good, Grover said. I love this place. I wish Naruto would be here with us, Annabeth said. Zero with Naruto Zero. Arc of time, stop. Naruto shouted as time bubble spread around 1 kilometer wide area and froze everything in the time. That is good, Karasu said as she sat down on his left shoulder. I know, Naruto said. He looked at around and everything was frozen in time, birds, animals and trees. But I need more practice. I can only stop the time for 5 minutes and 1 kilometer is my range. The time bubble disappeared and everything went normal. But it is only one day and we have time. Yes, Naruto said. Also you will like to see this. He raised his hand toward the empty space front of him and opened the space-time dimension gate. What is this? It's my new space-time technique. It's faster than my space-time migration. In few seconds you can teleport to one place to another, Naruto said. The image of Lotus Hotel and Casino appeared in the gate. Let's go. They both entered in the door. 0 front of Lotus Hotel and Casino 0. In the blink of eyes they appeared front of the hotel. It is faster than your old technique, Karasu said. I know, Naruto said. Before they will enter in hotel, Naruto heard an unknown voice in his head. Naruto. Don't go there, a voice said. Naruto asked, who are you? I am your father and this place is a trap. Naruto thought for few seconds and said, sorry father, but I am going inside. If it is trap then I have to save them. Karasu-chan, you can go now, Naruto said. Karasu disappeared in his shadow. Ignoring his father's warning, Naruto entered inside the hotel. The first things he noticed, it was time. In this place, time is moving slower than normal, he thought. I have to hurry. He sensed Annabeth, Grover and Percy's life signature. Found them, Naruto thought. He disappeared from there and reappeared in the room. He found Grover playing a reverse hunting game where he had to shoot rednecks. Annabeth was playing a simulation game where she could build her own city and Percy. Naruto thought, now, where is Percy? He is. So you didn't listen to me. You are stubborn like your mother, Hades' voice said. Thanks, Naruto said. So what do you want now? Hades said, I want to talk to you something. Look at the table on your left side. Naruto looked at the table. He saw a young boy with olive-colored skin was dominating the table. The boy had shaggy and messy black hair and intense black eyes with a gleam of genius or madness, which was kind of hard to discern. He was also wearing all black clothes and on the chair he was sitting on was an aviator's jacket. A girl walked up beside the kid. He noticed that she had black eyes and dark brown hair. She seemed to be lean and about average height. She had olive skin like the boy at the table, a sprinkle of freckles across her nose, and wore a floppy green hat that hides most of her face, but you could still see it. So those two are my half-brother and half-sister, Naruto said. How do you know this? Hades asked. Their aura felt familiar. You are truly your mother's son, Hades said. These two are here for their own protection, don't let them know until it is time. You will see them again. Whatever, Naruto said, I am coming to the underworld and then we are going to long talk. He walked near them and saw the boy was playing mythological. Interesting, he said, he is pretty good. Thanks, the girl replied. But it is a pain to watch him all the time though. By the way, my name Naruto Uchiha, Naruto said. I am Bianca D'Angelo by the way and the kid at the table is my brother, Nico. Naruto reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. It is a gift for you too, for the future, he said and put it on Bianca's hand. Bianca looked box in her hand and said, sorry but she saw Naruto wasn't there. Weird boy. She turned her attention back to the box and opened it. She saw beautiful necklace and bracelet inside. It was a beautiful silver necklace that had small silver black dragon pendant. The dragon was holding small blood red crystal that had 3 concentric circles and 9 commas in it. The next thing was bracelet. It was pure black. It had a dragon and same blood red crystal on it. What is this? Nico asked when saw the small box in his sister's hand. A gift, Bianca said. Then she noticed a Greek writing on the box, which was somehow she was able to read it. Family always stick together. I like this gift, Nico said as he took the bracelet. Bianca nodded his head. Who was he? She thought. Percy was trying to get Annabeth away from her game. Come on, he said to her. We've got to get out of here. Percy got no response so shook her. Annabeth. Annabeth looked up, annoyed. What? We need to leave. Leave. What are you talking about? I've just got the towers. This place is a trap. Annabeth didn't respond until Percy shook her again. What? Listen. The underworld. Our quest. Oh. Come on, Percy. Just a few more minutes. Suddenly Naruto appeared behind them. He put his hands on their shoulders. Sorry, we have no time, he said. He absorbed both of them into his personal dimension. Now, where is Grover? He thought. There. He disappeared again. Naruto found him still playing a virtual deer hunter. Grover said, "Die, human. Die, silly polluting nasty person." "Grover," Naruto said. "Grover." Grover turned the plastic gun on him and started clicking, as if he were just another image from the screen. Naruto took his arm and both of them disappeared from there. Naruto appeared outside the Lotus Casino with unconscious Annabeth, Percy and Grover on the ground. The first Percy woke up. "My head," he said. "Last time I was with Annabeth." Then Percy noticed it was afternoon, about the same time of day they had gone into the casino, but something was wrong. The weather had completely changed. It was stormy, with heat lightning flashing out in the desert. He also saw Ares' backpack was slung over his shoulder, which was odd, because he was sure he had thrown it in the trash can in room 4001. "Oh, my head," Annabeth said. "Quadruple A," Grover said. Both of them woke up. Annabeth saw Percy and asked, "What happened here?" "Lotus Casino is a trap," Naruto said as he appeared there. "Now, get up, because we're leaving." "Why so urgent?" Grover asked. He threw the newspaper toward them. Percy caught it. They read the date, June 20th. They had been in the Lotus Casino for 5 days. They had only 1 day left until the summer solstice. 1 day to complete their quest. Grover said, "Oh crap. Let's go." "We don't have time," Naruto said. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.